thank you for coming. I know almost everybody, but let me just introduce myself. I'm David. I'm Dan's son. Sorry.
Turn that speaker just a little bit towards me.
Towards you.
There you go, perfect.
Is that good?
Yep. Sorry, guys.
All right, great feedback. All right, we're good.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm David. I'm Dan's son. We know most of you guys, but just to introduce my brother Greg is the tall guy with the knit cap on.
Hey.
My sister Lee, right here,
Hi, Lee.
and my other sister Kim. Everybody will recognize the family resemblance. If you haven't been around the last few years, there's a story. Ask me later. Kim would be glad to tell the story too.
And these stories?
I'll tell
And
too.
yes. Anybody, if there's a family resemblance, they're related. So please ask. Thank you very much for braving the weather and coming out. Dan was a unique guy, and he was an unconventional guy. He left a long list. Dan left a long list of things he didn't want in the memorial service. Not a lot of what he wanted, but what he didn't want was no churches. He didn't want any funeral homes. He didn't want any memorial services where the best dressed guys were the undertakers. What he wanted was just sort of a gathering where people could get together and share stories, and that's what we tried to put together here. My sister Lee, who, with a lot of help from a lot of friends, but did all this work with a lot of help from everybody, thank you. Appreciate that. And, you know, we all appreciate you coming out and showing us support. Even more than that, I think, is that everybody in this room pretty much had a connection with Dan. And I'm going to go all John Boehner on you in a minute, so apologize for that. But Dan had a connection with everybody in this room, and I think a lot of you, maybe even most of you, would call him a dear friend. But what's kind of interesting is not all of you know each other. So in a way, this might be Dan's sort of worst Halloween nightmare that we're all in. And we can share those stories. So please, if you bump into somebody you don't know, ask them ask them how they know Dan.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get a good story out of it. Okay. So okay. So that's it. So what we're going to do is some food in the other room, and there's a bar in the other room. If you haven't seen it, a great slideshow downstairs. There are a few people that want to come up and say something. My brother Greg gonna talk
He
first.
wants to go after that.
Okay, so Melinda's gonna come up and say something, and then Greg. Oh, and Pamela, my daughter, wants to say something too. But one thing, in a little twist of fate, Dan taught us one more thing today. He was summoned for jury duty this morning.
I'll take his place.
There is that would be good. There is a foolproof way to get out of jury duty. All right. Thank you. I guess
Melinda and Emily.
Melinda and Emily. Thank you. Is that okay? You good?